Good afternoon and welcome to this week's edition of the Rugby League Verdict. The Women's Super League launch took place at Headingley yesterday. The wheelchair game is on the up and the men's competition continues to serve up some surprise results. This week, as ever, I am joined by Rugby League pundit John Wilkin. John, as always, thank you for your time today. I do want to start this week's Rugby League Verdict, however, talking about rugby union. Now, Mike Ford has completed a surprise takeover of his hometown club, Oldham, with a group of local businessmen, which I guess will see his son, England fly half George, offer his services to help transform the club. I mean, it's exciting news for the third tier side, isn't it?
Yeah, people who don't know, obviously, Oldham, just to the east of Manchester, has got a rich history with the game. Jenna, it's been a fantastic club throughout the history of the game, and for George Ford and Mike Ford to get involved. I think one thing it says is, look, the new licensing allows people to come in and change a club and invest in a club and make a difference really quickly. So I think the Ford family have seen an opportunity to take on a project like Oldham, really push it forward quite quickly, with IMG giving them a guaranteed place in Super League if they can hit some certain criteria. So exciting news for Oldham. And let's hope we see George Ford maybe pull on some boots, Jenna, maybe. Well,
he has actually made it clear that before his career does come to an end, that he would like to try his talent, if you like, at the 13-man code. So who knows? I guess time will tell. But I do want to turn our attention to Super League. And I guess for me, the biggest talking point this week is that Warrington remained the only side unbeaten, while Wakefield the only team without a win. But John, what caught your attention in round 6?
Well, I think initially the Leopards, the Lee Leopards, the rebranded Leopards, who were maybe not favoured to do very well, them getting a win over Hull FC and making ripples in Super League, I think is a bit of a headline. But for me, one of the big talking points was the Leeds Rhinos. The Leeds Rhinos, whose form's been in question, came up against Catalan Dragons, who've been unbeaten to this point in the season, and produced a really memorable performance on a glorious sunny afternoon at Headingley. And having Harry Newman back in the team and some of their star players really on form allowed them to get over the top of Catalan Dragons. And what a finish it was to the game. Richie Myler with an intercept and Harry Newman, who's one of the stars of the game, to finish off what was an impeccable performance from Leeds. The question mark remains with Leeds, whether they can reproduce that and keep reproducing it, and if they can be consistent enough over a period of time. I think away from Leeds, look, you've mentioned them, Warrington Wolves, what a performance against Castleford. Unbeaten at the top of the league. Dismantle Castleford and look as powerful and punchy as ever, and some of their key players are just really hitting their straps. George Williams in exceptional form. His combination with the spine of his team is proving just so difficult to deal with, but it's the power through the middle of the field and their ability to run from doing half through the middle of the field that has really impressed me, and some fantastic performances from Warrington. And I just think they deserve the place at the top after what was such a tough year. It was an awful year for them last year, so it's been maybe a huge sigh of relief from everyone at Warrington.
Yeah, they finished 11th in the table in 2022, their worst ever finish to a Super League season. But you did mention his name, John, and I'm delighted to say that George Williams, one of the absolute standout players in the league so far this year, joins us from the Halliwell Jones Stadium. George, I know it's a day off for you, so a huge thank you for your time on the Rugby League Verdict this afternoon. But let's start with Warrington. Your incredible team are 6 from 6, top of the table. I mean, you really couldn't have asked for a better start to the season, could you?
No, we couldn't, Jenna. We've obviously hit the ground running. I think some of the boys have had a longer pre-season than usual, and I think we got reaps the benefits out of that. I think me coming in late, just seeing how hard the group had worked, and yeah, we're 6 from 6. I'm not going to give you too many cliches and say we're going week by week, but there's some real belief in our camp at the moment.
I want to talk about that belief in a moment, but we touched on last year and how difficult it was. This year, we have seen a number of new recruits, including the likes of Paul Vaughan, who really, for me, is one of the standout signings of the year. How much of Warrington's success would you say is down to these new faces?
Yeah, massively. I think, like you touched on, Paul Vaughan's been brilliant for us. The meter eater, we like to call him now. He's over 200, close to 200 metres every single game for us. We've signed, obviously, big Sam Cassiano. We've got some big boys in that middle, and then it frees up our spine, and we've got Matt Duffy and some sharp edges to finish it off. So yeah, look, we're going really well. Like I said, we're 6 from 6. It couldn't have gone any better to start the year, and we've got a couple of injuries, a couple of suspensions this week. So hopefully we just get the job done again and go 7 from 7.
Yeah, John, just on that, I mean, unbeaten at Warrington. Had we said at the start of the year, had I said to you, John, that Warrington would be alone at the top of the table, would you have questioned it?
No, not at all. Like, I looked at Warrington's team and knew that George was coming off the back of a World Cup full of form and full of confidence. So I don't think I would have questioned it. I think the challenge remains for a team like Warrington is to peak at the right time of the year. You know, they want to be coming into the best form at the back end of the year when the grand final and the playoffs are at. It's great for them that they're playing well now, and I love how they're playing. They're playing with a balance of power and a bit of lateral movement. And I think key to all of that is the man that we've got on this call, actually, George Williams. So I had a question for George. How much is your current form linked to how well the team's going? Or how much is the team going well linked to your form?
Well, that's a tongue twister. I think, yeah, look, I think I can only play well off the back of our forwards is a massive platform for me. Obviously, as an half-back, I can try and control it as best I can, but when we're going forward, it makes my job and the other sparring players' job so much easier, and we've got some quality like you touched on.
Well, George, you've spoken a little bit about belief before. What are the discussions behind closed doors? Because as we know, we've spoken about a lot, we are only 6 rounds through of 27. I mean, it's an extremely long season. How do you make sure that you and your teammates don't get carried away and you keep your feet on the ground?
Yeah, the main message probably for us is being consistent. It's all good, like you said, to win the first 6, and it's easy to probably fall off a cliff and get carried away with yourself, but we're driving each other really hard in training, and probably as hard as ever, to get better on the little things that probably a lot of people don't see. We're driving really hard on our standards, and if we nail them, we believe we can compete or beat anyone.
Well, you are top of the Man of Steel leaderboard. John Wilkin, a question to you. Again, it's very early, but you're tipping George Williams to go all the way and be crowned the Steve Prescott MBE Man of Steel?
Mate, if he can keep that fringe that straight, then I'm backing him to win Man of Steel. That's all I'm saying. I've never seen a fringe so immaculate, Jennifer.
Okay.
I'll take that.
There you go, George. John, praising your hairstyle. On a serious note, I do want to look ahead to the future, because I understand that you are contracted to Warrington until at least the end of 2024. Now, reports have come out linking you to a move back to the NRL, to the West Tigers. In particular, they have admitted that they are interested in signing you. But what can you tell us? I mean, would you ever consider going back to Australia, or can Warrington fans expect to see you playing for them post-2024?
Oh, I'm not too sure what will happen in the future, Jenna. I'm really enjoying my time at Warrington. I'll definitely be here for obviously this year and next year, and I'll see what the future holds, but I'm really enjoying myself here at the moment. Obviously we're winning, and the fan base has been unbelievable over the last 6 weeks, so hopefully we can keep winning for them, and yeah, who knows what happens in the future. So
not ruling out a return then down under. I know the reason you came back, or one of the reasons, was homesickness, so you would consider a move back to Australia, George. That's very interesting and good to hear.
Yeah, look, I definitely wouldn't write it off. Obviously you got to explore your options, but yeah, I'm 18 months left on my contract, so I've got a while till then, but yeah, never write it off and see what happens. Well,
I certainly know that everyone in Super League would miss you if you were to go back. So hopefully Warrington can hold on to you. But George Williams, as I said, appreciate your time today. Go and enjoy your day off, and good luck for round 7. Let's see if Warrington can continue their unbeaten run. John Wilkin, yesterday was the launch of the Women's Super League season. Now that all gets underway live on Sky Sports on Easter Sunday in what will be a grand final rematch between the reigning champions Leeds and York. When you think about the season ahead, what excites you most?
What excites me most is probably how Leeds have recruited. in one recruit in particular, Amy Hardcastle from St Helens. For people who haven't seen much of the women's game, she's such a powerful ball carrier, made a real difference every time she played for St Helens. Now Leeds have taken her over the Pennines, and I think she'll be a huge asset to them. I expect Leeds to be incredibly strong. Look, we need to pay credit to Leeds as a club. They've really embraced equality and diversity. You know, they've got the women's team, the men's team, the PDRL team, wheelchair team, and they've also got a netball team. So you look at, I suppose, the net that they're casting and the opportunities they're giving for people to play sport under their club's brand is incredible. So on the dawn of the Women's Super League launch, I think we should hail what Leeds Rhinos are doing in particular, and I'm excited to watch them play.
Yeah, absolutely. Another player that they've actually recruited, which I'm so excited to see over here, is Georgia Hale. Keep your eye on her. She's a New Zealand international and was a superstar in the recent World Cup. But John Wilkin, as ever, thank you so much for your time. We'll see you again next week.
Cheers, Dana.